We are now on chapter 40 of Ruth Minsky Sender's The Cage. There's a chance we might finish this video, but maybe next video. I open my eyes. Blurred faces look down at me. "Riva, how are you feeling?" asked the camp doctor. "How are you feeling?" She touches me gently. "My hand, it hurts. I'm so thirsty." "I know, child." She moistens my lips with water. "We have to take you back to the hospital in Glatz. The doctor there wants to see you." "But I just came back. I'm so tired." It takes so much effort to speak. "You came back several days ago." She wipes my forehead with a wet cloth. It feels good. "I want to sleep, please." "No, dear girl, we must get you dressed. We have to leave soon. I am going with you. Loda asked me to go, to help you walk. She told me you staggered all the way home." I hear the tears in her voice. Is she crying for me? Am I dying? The doctor holds me up as we walk through the beautiful mountainside. The cold air feels refreshing on my hot face. The guard walks in front of us, stopping each time we lag behind. She waits silently for us to catch up with her. We reach the station as if in a dream I have lived through before. I stand in the corner of the train. My head rests heavily on the doctor's arm. She caresses my head and holds onto the wall to keep us both from falling. The guard sits on the bench, watching us. She turns her face towards the window. We reach Glatz. The camp doctor and I step into the gutter. I look at her with feverish eyes. She walks proudly, holding her head high, hugging me close to her. My eyes rest on the number and the yellow star on her coat. I feel a huge lump in my throat. "Doctor, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you have to march like this in the gutter with them staring at us. I'm sorry you have to suffer this humiliation because of me. You are such a special person." "Riva," she says, lifting my chin high. "We are all special. Hold your head proudly. Let those who put us in the gutter feel shame, not us." She presses my hand warmly. "We are special, Riva. We are better. We can still feel." We reach the hospital. It is still early in the morning. The doctor I remember bending over me is waiting for us. She ushers us into an examination room. I sit down. The camp doctor and guard stand by my side. "How is she doing?" the doctor asks the guard. "She is still running a high fever, doctor." The camp doctor speaks up. The doctor looks at her silently, then at the guard. "Forgive me. This is the camp doctor. I asked her to come to help the girl." "Good, very good." She pauses, looking at the young woman in an old coat marked with a yellow star and a number. "How is she doing, doctor?" "She's in a lot of pain, doctor." Their eyes meet silently. The doctor cuts the bandage. I watch her face, holding my breath. The gauze is sticking to the wound. I bit my lips. "She is a brave girl, sitting so still. This is very painful." The doctor speaks to the camp doctor and the guard as if I were not there. She speaks German. The last piece of dressing is off. The guard turns her face away. I watch the doctor's eyes. They are full of distress. "Oh my, we still have a problem." She turns to the camp doctor. "I'll clean it out and put on a fresh dressing. The poison is still spreading up her hand," she sighs. "We'll wait a few more days, then bring her back." She stops, taking a deep breath. "If it does not improve, I will have to amputate her arm." "Oh God!" the camp doctor cries out. I feel the chair sliding out from under me. I gasp for air. My eyes close. Riva, open your eyes." The camp doctor holds something under my nose. It smells strong. "Come on, child, don't faint." I open my eyes slowly, looking straight into the doctor's horror-stricken face. "I'm sorry. I did not know she understood German." Tears flow silently down my face. She wipes them gently. We march back to the train. The sun is strong, but I feel only darkness around me. "Doctor," I find it hard to speak. "Doctor, you must make me a promise." She looks at me. "You must promise. If the infection is not better, you will not let them amputate." I stop. "They will not need me with one arm. I'll die either way. Please don't let them cut off my arm. Promise." She pulls me closer to her. "Doctor, when they put me to sleep, I will be helpless. I do not want to wake up with one arm. You must promise me you will not let her do it. Please, promise." "Riva, the surgery may save your life," she says meekly. "You know it will not save me. Let me die of the poisoning." I see the pain in her face. "I promise," she says. "I promise." Chapter 41. On my third trip to the hospital, the doctor finds that the poison has stopped spreading. Thank God, there will be no amputation. Slowly my hand shows improvement. The incision reaches from my wrist to the tip of my second finger, as if my hand had been cut into 2 pieces and then sewn together again. The finger is still stiff. Well, Riva, a stiff finger is better than no hand. The camp doctor smiles sadly as she changes the bandages on my hand. Just think, you will take out with you from this hell a reminder that someone cared if you lived or died. She looks around the patients on the sack of straw. I'll remember my internship here, and you, my first surgery. She sighs, a deep, heavy sigh. We must do the best that we can, and live. If I could write again, I would feel more alive. I stare at my bandaged right hand. What is the use? I am right-handed. The doctor stops for a moment. She puts my hand gently down on the blanket and walks briskly towards the little room she shares with the nurse and the camp elder. My eyes follow her through the open door. I see her search for something in a small box under her bunk. She takes something from the box and returns, smiling. In her hand she carries a pencil and a piece of paper. Gently, she props me up against the wall behind the bunk and sits down near me. Give me your left hand, Riva. What are you going to do, doctor? I ask, agitated. Riva, trust me, child. God gave you 2 hands, right? I will teach you to use your left hand. She puts the small pencil in my hand and slowly guides my fingers over the paper. It feels clumsy, but good. I smile as I see on the paper the shapes I form with my left hand. See, Riva? Soon you will learn to form letters with your left hand. So what if they don't look perfect? She spends every free moment with me, helping me exercise my fingers, encouraging me while guiding my hand over the paper. Riva, you are doing better every day, she says happily. Slowly, words take shape on the paper she brings me. I write again. I hear the whistle outside my little world calling for head count. I hear the sound of the whip. The shouts, I cover my ears. The shouts, I cover my ears. I am lucky. I am in the sick room, and I write. Each evening lines form in front of the sick room, girls waiting for first aid. I hear their voices, weak and worn. I see the sorrow, the helplessness in the doctor's eyes when she comes late in the evening to look at the lucky ones, the ones who get to be admitted for the night. Gently, she touches my hair when she sees me write. We must never give up, girls. We must never give up. The goddess of the sick. I write these words on paper. Doctor, this is for you. I hand her a piece of paper with an awkward smile. Riva, I cannot read Yiddish. Would you please read it to me? She sits on the edge of the bunk, waiting. I feel myself blush as I read, and so this is her poem. The goddess of the sick. We have a sick room in this place. You're lucky to get into, and when you must leave. You're lucky to get... I'm just going to start that all over. The goddess of the sick. We have a sick room in this place. You're lucky to get into, sad when you must leave. Our doctor, our goddess, is always nearby to chase the pain and sorrow with words of love, with words of hope, hope for a better tomorrow. Her daily care, pills of faith, a smile, a touch of her hand, tales, tales of the life that waits. We gain strength from her strength, gain hope from her hope, warmed by the rays of her love. A dark shadow covers her face. Riva, I am no goddess. I am Anna, a medical student from Budapest, and very, very human. She sighs. Love is not always enough, she says. Did you know that I have a husband? I gaze at her, surprised. Do you know where my husband is? She does not wait for my reply. No, he is not in a concentration camp like you and me. He is not a Jew. He is a young doctor I met in medical school. We were married for a short time only, a very short time. The Nazis put him in an army uniform and sent him away to heal the killers of my people. He is free. I am here. His family is alive. Mine was murdered in Auschwitz. She stops for a moment. I still love him, but if I survive, I will never go back to him. The barbed wire will always be between us. Even love will not. I am sorry, doctor. I did not mean to. She squeezes my hand and walks quickly to her room, closing the door behind her. Chapter 42. Riva, they are closing the factory for the Christmas holiday, Helen, the camp elder, says, sitting down on my bunk heavily. The guards will be bored, so the commandant wants us to put on a show. We must give them some amusement, or they will find their amusement in the whip. She turns to the doctor, who is bathing my hand in a small basin. Can Riva leave the sick room? Can she come and read some of her poems? I don't know. Riva is still weak. I'm afraid the commandant may have her sent back to the factory if she sees her out of bed. She hesitates for a moment. Well, she has already told me that I am keeping Riva here much too long, but I don't know if we should take the chance. My eyes wander from one to the other. The doctor is trying to protect me. The camp elder is trying to do what is best for all. I feel torn. I want to stay here in safety as long as possible. Still, if I can help calm the beasts for a while, I must. I will be strong, Doctor. I will be part of the show. We must do the best we can, you always say. She smiles. The girls will be happy to see you. Helen puts her hand on my shoulder. Thank you, Riva. She leaves to search for more talent for the command performance. The day arrives. My heart pounds as I walk into the barrack reserved for the show. The doctor holds her arm around me to help me walk. 400 voices cheer. I won a battle for life. They were all part of my struggle. They prayed for me. I won. They won. The commandant enters, followed by her guards. She looks around, her eyes angry, as always, then motions to the camp elder to take over. We are ordered to sit. Helen stands on the platform built for this occasion and begins the program by wishing the commandant and her gang a Merry Christmas. Then, one by one, the girls walk up to the platform to show off their talent in ballet, poetry, song. I sit enchanted. So much talent is still alive in those dried-out young bodies. They dance and sing for their captors, but it seems to me they are at this moment in a world of their own, a world of beauty. I glance quickly at the commandant and the guards. They look amazed. Carola steps up on the platform. My heart pounds. I know the poem she is going to recite, Bread Given Back. The poem tells of a regime that brings slavery and misery to a people, and of a new regime that pays back the oppressor with the same misery it caused. Carola recites the poem in Yiddish. Yiddish sounds a lot like German. If the Nazis should understand the message, a chill goes through my body as I listen to Carola finish in a strong, determined voice. The commandant bends over to the guard at her side. They whisper. The commandant shrugs her shoulders. I take a deep breath. They ignored the message. Now it is my turn. To reach the platform, I have to pass the commandant. I look the other way. I feel her staring at me as the doctor helps me onto the platform. Is that the one with the blood poisoning, doctor? She says, surprised. Yes, Madame Commandant. I took her out for the first time today. I feel the commandant's eyes piercing me. I avoid her gaze. Looking straight at the girls in front of me, I too recite in Yiddish. A message for Mama. Blue little clouds, floating so free. Won't you please carry a message for me? If on your journey you should happen to see my mother. My voice cracks. My personal message to Mama is the message of the 400 Nazi victims in this camp to 400 mothers crying for their children. My voice becomes stronger. Tired, weary, left all alone, torn from her children, filled with sorrow and pain. Please, gently touch her. Please, gently kiss her. Bring her my love. Tell how I miss her. Feel her pain. Feel her sorrow. Please tell her, my friends, she must live for tomorrow. If you see her tears, please wipe them. Tell her, soon will come the day when together again we will be. A mother, her children, a family, all free. Mama, dear Mama, please whisper for me. Today will vanish, believe. Soon your empty arms, your children will fill. The sorrow will turn to joy. Tomorrow is near. Dear Mama, please live. Be strong. We'll weather this storm. We'll find you, dear Mama. Please do not despair. We will live. We will live to be free. I feel my knees bending. I feel hands grabbing me. Someone is carrying me. I open my eyes slowly. I am back in the sick room. Beside me sits the doctor. Welcome back, Riva. You made me a bit nervous. You passed out. She caresses my head softly. I should have kept you in here to begin with. You are still too weak and... She stops suddenly, her eyes in the doorway. I look up. Standing there in her brown Nazi uniform, club in hand, is the commandant. I lower my eyes. She has come to punish me for my poetry. She is going to send me away. I look at the doctor. She still holds her hand on my head as if to protect me. Leave us, doctor, the commandant orders. The doctor remains standing by my side, her eyes angry and defiant. Leave us, please. The commandant's voice is softer now. The doctor moves slowly towards the door. My heart beats wildly as I watch her leave the room. I am all alone now, all alone with this beast who takes pleasure in punishing her helpless victims. Suddenly, she sits down at the edge of my bunk, her eyes studying my face intently. I lie still. She puts her hand in the pocket of her Nazi uniform and pulls out a small notebook. She tosses it onto my blanket. I remain still. She does not take her eyes off my face as she puts her hand back in her pocket. You do not have to hide your poetry, she says. I was sure that we killed all your emotions, that all you can feel is hunger, all you can think of is bread. She stops, looking away. Your poems are full of hope, of love. You still feel, you still dream. You yearn for your mother. You reminded me that I, too, have a mother. She stands up and leaves the room without looking at me. I pick up the notebook with shaking hands. This did not really happen. I must be dreaming. There is something human in that woman, something that can be moved by a poem. I touch the small notebook. It is real. I am not dreaming. It is real. It is real. Chapter 43. It is January 19th, 1945. I am writing a poem when the doctor enters the sick room. She stands by the door and waits. I feel her looking at me as I write. I look up and meet her worried eyes. She sits down at the edge of my bunk, taking my hand in hers. Riva, she says, you are going to the factory tomorrow. You have to. The commandant is expecting the inspector soon. What will they do with me? I cannot work in the factory. I can't see. I can't work in the bunker. I can't use my hand. Riva, you will be strong. She turns abruptly and walks out, closing the door to the tiny room behind her. I lie on the straw, waiting restlessly for the shrill sound of the wake-up whistle for 5 o'clock in the morning. As I walk out of the sick room, the icy air hits my face. My legs move unsteadily toward the line of girls standing in the field. It is time for head count. I see the fearful eyes of the frail girls before me. Good luck, someone whispers. Good luck, Riva. Silence! A guard raises her whip. The commandant arrives, her dog at her side. She whispers something to one of the guards and motions to the camp elder to give the order to march. It has been almost 3 months since I last marched on these roads. I have forgotten the long, hard march to the factory, the sounds of the whips, the shrieks of the guards. I drag my wooden shoes heavily on the snow-covered road. My feet feel as if they, too, were wooden. March, march, do not fall behind, a guard shouts. I speed up. Give me your hand. You will walk faster if you hold on to me. I take the hand of a ragged shadow marching near me and walk. We reach the factory. The girls who work in the factory line up at one side of the field, the girls who work in the bunker at the other. I move towards the girls going to the bunker. Hey, you, come here, a guard calls, pointing at me. She looks at me with disdain. Wait here. Her voice is cold and harsh. The girls march off to work. Will I see them again? Let's go. Stop dreaming. March. The guard moves forward with big strides. I try to keep up with her and find myself running. We stop in front of a small, white building. I am out of breath. The front door is open. We enter a long, narrow hall. Some of the doors along the wall are open, and I see bathtubs and toilets. The last door at the end of the hall has a sign that reads, First Aid. I lean against the wall. The guard stares at me. Now, don't you faint on me. Doctor? She calls nervously. The door opens. A tall woman in a white uniform rushes towards me. She guides me towards the room. Sit down, girl. She helps me into a chair. Take off your coat. She hands me a glass of water. Drink. You will be all right. She speaks German with a heavy Russian accent. Her voice is strained. Is this the one? She asks the guard. Her Russian accent puzzles me. This is the one, doctor. I will call for her when it is time. I listen to the strange exchange of words. Time for what? The guard leaves. I stare at the woman before me. She takes my hand. Poor girl, she says. She clears her throat. You will be fine. I am Ketya. I am the doctor here. I give first aid to the workers. Her light brown hair pulled towards the back of her head adds gentleness to her young face. Her warm voice, her Russian accent soothe me. You will help wash, sterilize, and re-roll the bandages to be reused, she sighs. And you will wash the bathtubs and toilets out there. The German workers use them. She still holds my hand. You are very lucky. The Nazi commandant for your camp came here last week. She asked if I could find work for you here. It is better than the factory or the bunker. She studies the long, red scar on my hand. She told me about the blood poisoning. You are lucky. You are very lucky. I am Russian. My husband is also Russian, of German ancestors. When the Germans took Russia, they told him he is a German and sent him to the front. I followed to be as close to him as possible. I have not heard from him for a long time now. She sighs, a painful sigh. Where are you from, child? What is your name? My name is Riva Minska. I was born in Lodz, Poland. Oh, yes, yes. I was in Poland a while. Yes, yes. Someday you will go back home, but I will never go home. I have my family in Russia, and I hope they are alive. I can never go back to Russia. I left Russia. I followed my husband. I can never go home. Doctor, thank you for letting me work here. My voice breaks. Oh, child. I don't feel much like a doctor. I feel more like a prisoner. Please, call me Katya. I like to hear my Russian name. She puts a basket with clean bandages before me. Roll them up slowly. Take your time. There is no guard here. She smiles. If I see a guard, I'll let you know. We will be friends.